Have you ever wondered where your milk comes from? Ireland's 1.1 million dairy cows produce over 5 billion litres of milk annually. This is how, in the Dairy Farmer's Year on the Land. As the ice thaws and the snows melt, it's springtime and the country is coming alive. After a winter kept indoors, Ireland's dairy cows are heading back out to the fields. The days are getting longer, and as the sun warms the land, the dairy farmers are delighted that their cows will be dining on fresh grass once again.
What you have is a lot of wind and frost damage, as you can see the colour on the tips of the grass. It's gone quite brown. It should be lush green, but it has lost its colour because of the cold.
Despite this year's unusually harsh winter, Ireland's normally mild and temperate climate produces some of the best conditions for dairy farming in the world, and spring is a special time.
To me, the nicest part of the year. The days are long, the sun is shining most days, and the cows are all out. Absolutely love it.
Every farmer in springtime is really busy, and there's new life around the place, and there's nice green grass growing in March and April, and there's daffodils out in the garden, and the birds are singing, and the cows are peaking in their milk production, and they're coming into the milking parlour with udders full of milk.
Life for the dairy cows soon falls into a regular daily pattern of grazing and milking. Tom Brown owns one of Ireland's largest dairy herds near Youghal in County Cork.
I've been farming since I was 15 years of age, which at this stage is, you could say, nearly 50 years.
Milk used to be drunk raw, straight from the cow, but today it's a complex commodity product. Processed, pasteurized and homogenized, and sold to us in a carton as either full-fat, skimmed or semi-skimmed.
The meat that was there, a lot of it would not certainly pass the same standards at all as what's there today. There was no TBC test, there was no thermoduric test. Once the milk hadn't gone sour, it was accepted. And the odd time, it just might be gone off a bit, but you'd slip the cans into the co-op, and there was nobody said anything. We lived in a different world.
But very little of what the modern dairy cow produces is drunk. Milk becomes butter, cheese and yogurt, and a vast number of other specialized products and food ingredients, from whey proteins and lactose fats to pizza toppings, milk powder and infant formula. Milk is big business, and an astonishing 85% of the milk from Irish cows like these is exported. In order to support this level of production, the modern dairy cow has been selectively bred to create an animal that produces a phenomenal amount of milk. But a cow can only produce milk once she has had a calf. These young heifer calves were born just a few months ago. As they enjoy a drink in the spring sunshine, it's time for their mothers to get pregnant once again. Spring is the breeding season. Today, for many farmers, the AI technician has replaced the bull, as artificial insemination has become the preferred method of getting a cow and calf.
The straw is in liquid nitrogen, and that's keeping them frozen. So I just take a straw out of there and put it into the thawing flask. If it's not actually thawed, the sperm will break, and then they can't do their job. I put my hand up into the rectum of the cow, and through the wall, I can actually pick up the cervix. I'm threading the tip of the gun just through the cervix, so that the tip of it just pokes through into the uterus. The uterus splits into two horns, and if you push it over into one horn, and it happens that the egg is not coming down that horn, then you've missed it. I'll just slowly deposit the semen just into the uterus.
Pedigree semen is expensive and a wasted expense if the AI is not done successfully. Some farmers relish the challenge of doing the AI themselves.
It's quite a simple job. The idea is very simple.
Mitchell Hayes farms in Blarney, County Cork.
It takes a bit of patience. When I was growing up, there was about 60 or 70 cows, and my father grew it up to over 100 cows, and we subsequently have grown it to 240 cows. Fortunately for us, we have. It takes a bit of patience. What I find is you go at the job in a calm manner, and the animal's calm.
Mitchell's cows are only served as they come on heat.
The start of the breeding season, just on this area of the tail head, I put on just a daub of paint. And when the cow comes into season, they'll mount each other. The tail paint is rubbed off, and that's a fairly good indication that they're in heat. The patch it's like a scratch card. And when the silver covering is rubbed off and the full colour is exposed, she's in standing heat also.
Any cows that don't become pregnant from AI first time round will be served again on their next cycle.
I'll have one more opportunity with them in 3 weeks' time, and after that, I'll let the bulls out for 3 weeks.
After 2 rounds of AI, some cows will still not be pregnant. This is the opportunity the stock bulls have been waiting all year for. With no time for formal introductions, they're let in to do the mopping up.
Big day for the bulls. It is their first day out with the cows. The ones with the blue are the ones that haven't been inseminated. The ones with the red are the ones that have been. So that's how we keep tabs on, you know, what is actually in heat and what's not in heat. The bull will only go after the cow that's in heat. That's the advantage of the bull at this time of the year, that it can get a bit confusing and you can be actually holding back cows to AI that mightn't necessarily be in heat. The bull doesn't make that mistake. Nature takes over. The bull is not choosy about which colour. Nature tells him what to do, so I don't have to pay him for him either. With a stock bull, there is a degree of chance. Some farmers are quite happy to use stock bulls and have very good health. So, there's always a question mark, but I'd say on balance, you're better off using AI.
Whether the cows become pregnant from the stock bull or from AI, a successful breeding season will determine the farmer's profitability in the following year. But for the individual cow, the breeding season is even more important. It's a matter of life or death. Any of these cows fail to get pregnant this year, they'll be culled from the herd.
In general, what I find at the end of my 12-week breeding season, I have about 8% empty. So I'm 92% pregnant. I suppose that's pretty good.
Given that a cow will only produce milk after giving birth, a cow without a calf is useless. But the farmer is not just looking to get his cows pregnant. He needs them to have a daughter. Only the female heifer calves have a value.
You'd be kind of hoping for a female out of her so that her line, her genetics will stay within the herd, and you get a small bit of disappointment when you see a male. The earning potential of a dairy breed female calf, if she's an animal that stays within the herd, is about 1,300 euros a year she'll turn over. That's the type of earning potential that you have.
In Drimoleague, spring is the end of the male calves' time on Alan Kingston's farm. Destined to be exported to the continent to become veal or turned into burger meat.
We only keep the female calves here. The males are of no use to us, so they get sold to go onto the beef farms. The Frisians tend to be a little bit more bony and Holstein-y. As you can see, this fella is rounder and fatter, so he's good for lots of meat. This fella won't yield as much meat. We just milk cows. We're just a dairy farm, so we love ladies in the herd here. It just makes our day when we've lots of Frisian heifers, so that we can choose the best of them then for the replacements. That's the job.
trip to the mart is always one of expectation. Will there be a buyer, and what price will be achieved? Buyers and sellers converge at Bandon Mart for the spring bull-calf sales.
There's a lot of calves here today. There was at least 15 or 1600 calves to get through. So when people talk about a cattle mart, it really was a cattle mart. It was mayhem here this morning. Lots of buyers are looking to buy calves for export, and there's a lot of farmers buying calves now as well. You can stop the sale. If you're not happy with the price, you just tell the auctioneer no sale, and he'll pass that message on them, and then you have to bring your calf back home. It's sold just about 10 minutes ago, so they made a good price. Calves are selling very well actually today.
A good price is relative. With Frisian bull calves achieving a sale price of just €30, you begin to understand the economics of dairy. When you factor in mart charges, the cost of diesel and the expense of the bull or AI, many calves will have sold at a loss.
The earning potential of a dairy breed bull calf to me is zero. It's a cost.
With the sums done and bull calves off the farm, the breeding season is over. As summer approaches, milk production rises, the demand for grass will reach its peak, and silage time is fast approaching. It's summer, and the cows are busy producing milk. The modern dairy farm is designed for ease of milking and for maximum grass growth. Across the farm, hedges, trees and fences are removed to create large grazing paddocks.
The farm generally is laid out in 15 to 25 and up to 30 acre paddocks. You always go to the ones with the highest covers and graze them first.
Long, straight roads dissect the farms to give the cows direct access to and from the parlour. The area around the parlour is known as the milking platform.
The milking platform is really, really special. Whatever area that milking platform is, that is your limitation as to what you can physically produce off of the farm in the system that I want to run. That is my economic generator.
The platform may provide the fuel for the dairy, but it is the parlour and the sheds that are the engine room, housing the cows in winter and milking them in summer.
To build this shed, I had to move 125,000 tons of rock. Not just because I wanted it here, but because this is where it should be, so as I could utilise the existing buildings, have them all in one shed and close to the milking parlour.
The modern dairy farm owes its layout to innovations developed in New Zealand. And today, Tom Brown is proud to be playing host to a group of New Zealand dairy farmers.
You're all very welcome. Of course, I'd have to preface that by saying we are always very much in awe of New Zealanders because they're a serious threat to us.
New Zealand accounts for 1/3 of the world's dairy trade, and many of its innovations have been widely copied in the Irish dairy industry. Innovations like Tom's rotary milking parlour. Tom's cows are milked twice a day. As they enter the rotary, their tags are registered by the computer. It calculates how much feed each cow needs, and as she leaves the rotary, it records how much milk she has produced.
My ambition was to have a milking parlour that would milk cows non-stop. I think it's an ideal way of milking cows. It's continuous. If you have a slow cow, it doesn't matter. She's not going to hold up the whole system. It's easier for the operators, and you can increase numbers without fierce hassle because every time that rotates, you have 60 cows.
For Tom, the rotary was a major investment, but it was also a statement of faith.
I remember when I first started talking to people about the idea of putting up a rotary parlour, they were looking at me and they were saying, he's definitely going to get this one wrong. When you're making an investment, there's always an element of a gamble in it. Some of the biggest mistakes I made during my lifetime was doing things too small. And now I could be accused of probably doing a bit too big. I have as much money as sink a ship, and I owe as much as sink two. We're milking 620 cows, should be milking over 700 cows, aiming to milk 1,000 cows.
Tom's investment has given him one of the biggest dairy herds in Ireland. In New Zealand, size matters.
In New Zealand, the farms tend to be fairly similar, whereas here there's a much bigger variety of farmers and farms. As technology helps us, the trend worldwide is to get bigger. If I farmed here, I think I'd find them very difficult to live with. Yeah.
The average Irish dairy herd size is well below 100 cows.
The herds where I come from, the average herd now is about 600 cows, where I've counted a lot of cows around here, and I think there's about 50 or 60 would be more regular than anything else.
Size allows the farmer to maximise efficiencies and economies of scale. Mitchell Hayes also has a milking parlour inspired by one developed in New Zealand. For him, the attraction was cost.
It's different to a lot of milking sheds that you see in Ireland, insofar as that it's a very simple plant. There isn't even walls in it. One milker can manage, but in general we milk with 2 milkers. And because it's so simple, there's no complicated wizardry. If something goes wrong, it's important for me, you know, if something happens, I want the plant up and running in less than an hour. So basically, what I do is I put in no bells and whistles. That would not give me a return.
Whatever the milking system, the fuel that drives Irish milk production is the grass. Cows are highly efficient animals. Their 4 stomachs are designed to convert grass into milk, and the more grass the cows eat, the more milk they will produce. New Zealand has a similar grass-based dairying system, which gives both countries an enormous competitive advantage on the world market, because compared with grain-fed cattle, grass is the cheapest and best way of feeding. Another technique imported from New Zealand and enthusiastically taken up by some Irish farmers is the concept of grass management and measurement.
What you have today is a new breed of people farming who are now cutting and measuring grass.
I was never, ever happy just guessing what I'm doing. I measure the grass from week to week. Number 1, to give me an estimate of the feed that's actually on the farm available for grazing. And number 2, to get me a growth rate. This gadget, it's a rising plate meter. That's what it's called. It's quite a simple little gadget. The grass pushes up the plate. This little gadget inside here just measures how many half centimeters the plate rises. And from that mathematical equation, that gives me a calculation on how much dry matter is actually on the paddock. 1774. That's given me a total cover of 1,774 kilos.
Grass measuring is a very strong feature of dairy farming in New Zealand. The dairy farmers have really embraced pasture management as a key driver of the profitability of their farms.
Measuring grass is for a different type of farmer to me.
Somebody did say to me when they learned I was coming here today to ask Tom how he measures this grass, but
Measuring grass doesn't make it grow 1 iota faster. My belief is that the people should be trained to eyeball grass and throw away those little pieces of iron and those clippers. If you can't go into a field and judge how much grass is in it, you're not a good farmer.
Tom may not believe in measuring, but he does believe in carefully managing his fields throughout the year, fertilizing, spreading, and where necessary, reseeding, so that by the summer, his grass looks as good as this.
What we're about to cut here is silage. Trick about making good silage is to have as much leaf as possible. You'll always have a certain amount of stem, but like the more leaf you have in it, the better the quality of the silage. So that's just at the right stage. This is perfect silage weather.
Silage is simply fermented grass. At this time of year, these fields will produce more grass than the cows could possibly eat. And the surplus is turned into silage to feed them over the winter.
We try and get quality more than quantity. From a crop like that, you'd get a fresh material about 10 tons. The 10 ton of fresh grass to feed one cow for the winter.
The grass is cut and then turned, and then left in the field to reach the right moisture content.
What you're looking at there now is nice young grass with plenty of leaf in it. We leave it for approximately another 24 hours. And after that, we'll row it in and pick it up.
The grass is then brought from the field and stored in the silage pit. It's covered in plastic and weighted down by tires. Within 48 hours, the fermentation process starts, and after 2 weeks, the grass will be perfectly preserved for the winter.
That silage there now is 80 digestible dry matter, which would be considered a very good silage. That's nearly as good as grass.
Silage doesn't have to be made from grass.
What we have here is maize sown and the end of April. I suppose the main reason is, after the fright of a bad winter and 2 bad summers, you'd certainly be preparing for another bad summer. Hopefully we won't get it because maize needs a lot of heat and a lot of sunshine.
Luckily for Tom, this year we got a lot of sunshine. Back in the same field 4 months later, and the maize is looking good. That
is what you'd call an ideal cob, where it's full right to the top. This year, because of the weather, you have a complete cob, which should be very, very good feeding. Will you be able to find me?
Whether the silage is maize or grass, the purpose is the same: to give the cows enough food for the winter.
This time of year on the farm, we're finishing off the silage cutting. There's a great sense of achievement when your silage is in and your pit has been covered with the plastic and you've got it all finished, and it's a landmark in terms of your farming calendar.
With the silage gathered and the pits covered, autumn will be approaching right on cue. The weather has turned. The summer sun is but a memory, and grass growth has dramatically slowed down. And so too have the cows.
You wouldn't normally see that when cows are going to be milked. It's only at this time of the year when they don't have much meat. They're near drying off. They just saunter.
So you tell her to move on?
No, I'd hate to disturb her.
At peak, a cow's udder contains 25 litres of milk, and by autumn she'll have produced milk for 305 days. As the cows are dried off in preparation for calving, the farmer can assess how much milk his herd has produced.
Some of the higher yielding animals probably gave me 5,500 to 6,000 litres. The herd itself will average at about 4,500 litres. It's okay. No, it all depends. I'm quite happy with it. 10,000 litre cow won't last in my system.
In the last about 8 or 10 years, there has been a lot of emphasis not on the volume of milk that you produce, but on the quality of milk that you produce.
Fat is your cream or your butter or whatever you want to make out of fat. And then there's your proteins. The more fat and the more protein I can supply in a litre of milk, the cheaper it is to process that milk.
Both Tom and Mitchell's milk is processed through the Dairy Gold Co-op.
It's the largest farmer-owned co-op in the country.
We buy approximately 920 million litres per annum, and we manufacture that milk or process that milk into a wide variety of products.
All Irish dairy farmers are subject to milk quotas, which limit the amount of milk they can produce.
Milk quotas were introduced back in 1984 at EU level, and each member state at the time were given a milk quota. So the consequences of that then were that each milk producer in the country was allocated a quota based on his or her milk supply in 83.
The quota that I have right now is almost 600,000 gallons, but I'm supplying way over quota with the last 2 years, simply because the country was under quota.
Quotas also limit the amount of money a farmer can make.
When I first built the rotary milking parlour, it was designed to milk between 600 and 1,000 cows, but I could never go to that because of the quota restrictions. You know, I was fortunate that where I was, that I had good neighbours and was able to buy the land around me. Like, that's why the unit is as big as it is today.
Quotas are due to be abolished in 2015 and will allow farmers to expand and increase their farm size.
We're getting into, an expansionary phase right now. From our own survey work, we do see significant milk expansion post 2015, the order of 30% plus.
Any farmer that's not making money, my advice to them would be get out of farming. You don't have to be big to make money.
Alan Kingston's farm is typical of many Irish dairy farms. It's on poor, hilly land.
Somebody said that when God created West Cork, he made too much land, so we had to put it up in heaps. So it's hilly.
And it's small, with no chance of expansion.
I suppose when I took over the farm, I was a little bit naive and I didn't really realise how small it was.
Luckily, his wife, Valerie, had a solution for Alan's limited farm size. It was her suggestion that they start processing his milk themselves.
I suppose I always had this dream of a home business, but no grand plans, just a notion, and started taking saucepans of milk and transforming it into soft cheese or yogurt or whatever, and then just going off to the local country market and selling these experiments that I'd been playing around with in the kitchen.
It didn't take long for Alan to realise the benefits of adding value to his milk.
When we would count the money at the end of the day and find that I got 3 times as much for my milk, then I realised, yeah, it must be more viable.
Suddenly Alan got interested because I'd only taken about 2 or 3 buckets of milk, which would have gotten you maybe £10 or something. And we were together on it then, from then on, I think.
Valerie no longer makes her yoghurt in the kitchen, but the milk is still processed on the farm in a purpose-built cheese plant.
We make 3 core products like yogurt, cheese and cream, and from those 3 products then we make a whole range of desserts. We make about 3,000 to 4,000 cheesecake per week, 10,000 jars of yogurt, so there's lots of labour required.
Today, Glenillan is one of Ireland's most exciting new food brands, and Alan is no longer just a farmer. As well as working in the processing plant, he has to attend international sales conferences as the face of the brand.
So I and my wife Valerie, we produce all these products on our farm. See, I'm a farmer. Look at my big hands. Oh, I like to think myself as a farmer. I love milking cows. I love working on the farm. I was just your traditional dairy farmer who wanted to get bigger and bigger and milk more cows and produce more milk. And I think now we're actually producing less milk than we did when I was 23. Like every business, you start small and you grow it little by little, and that's the best way of doing it. So you grow it slowly.
And it's been very exciting, 13 years as well. It's opened new doors and you meet so many people and you never know what the day's going to bring.
For Alan, that could be a trip to the vets to deal with a sick cow.
A display stomach is where cows four stomachs, and after calving, one of the stomachs, the aramesum, it kind of gets a bit of free space to move around inside. Generally, we would have a fair idea assessing the cow that things will go okay, but the odd time you get a surprise. You know, you just don't know what's in there until you open it.
As Alan looks on anxiously, the vets work to untwist the cow's stomach. No matter how successful the yoghurt business, like any farmer, Alan's first priority will always be his cows. Herd health is important to every farmer. Mitchell has called in the vet to deal with a problem which could cause blindness if not treated.
That looks like pink eye, a New Forest disease. Good man on the... It's a combination of different bacteria that can get into the eye and cause a little spot in the middle of the eye, which then can become an abscess and cone out and burst if you don't treat it.
The most useful tool for any farmer is their crush, a specially constructed narrow stall which holds the cow safely while they're examined. TB testing is compulsory and would be onerous to manage without the crush, and it would be very difficult to scan Tom's 600 cows without it.
It involves basically using an ultrasound scanner, very similar to what's used in hospitals, but obviously a bit more robust for veterinary use. I'm scanning her rectally because I don't think she's more than 4 months in calf. If she's more than 4 months pregnant, I can scan her externally. So basically, you insert the probe in her rectum, and the picture shows up here on the screen, which is on the goggles here in front of me.
The reason that she's being mapped is she's only 4.5 months pregnant, so she'll be shifted into a different lot. You have great control over them as the year moves on, because you can pick out the cows that are calving first, batch them off according to the scanning dates.
Scanning is important, both to manage calving and also to enable the farmer to cull the 10% of cows not in calf. There is no point in feeding a cow who can no longer produce milk.
We'd expect the figure of empty rate, which I think it will be now, somewhere about 11%. Like when you're close to 10%, I'd be happy enough with that.
As the autumn sun drops behind the hill, the days are shorter and colder. The grass has stopped growing, and it's time for the cows to come into the sheds where they'll spend the winter. It's winter, and on the dairy farm, the stillness of the snowy landscape is matched by the silence of deserted milking parlours.
By the end of the year, we'll say December, things have gone very quiet. All the animals are in. So you're really just around the yard feeding and looking after the animals.
The relatively quiet days of winter give the dairy farmers time to spend with their families. In Drimoleague, Alan has cast his animals to star in the local nativity play.
It's always nice to have something new going on. The kids are really excited about it. We're looking forward to it. We're always looking forward to a challenge here in the community in Drimoleague.
Irish farming and Nordic skiing are not two phrases you'd normally hear together. But on Mitchell's farm, the cold weather has given a rare opportunity for some winter sports.
novelty and the kids are mad about it. I made them out of mud guards off a lorry, off an old lorry. Nice and cheap and effective, and kept the girls going for 2 hours. Great. Soil temperatures are quite low, very low. They're down at 0 or minus 2, minus 3. So I would imagine that if temperatures recover fairly well, growth will be back about a fortnight. It's not the end of the world, it's just, that's the way it goes. That's the way God sends it to us. We just farm.
Here's a pipe that's frozen with 7 days. No water at all came through it. If I was younger, and if I was in my teens, I'd be enjoying the weather. But not this type of weather. Doesn't suit me because hot frost creates problems with water.
Water is important, both for the cows to drink and for keeping everything clean. It may be minus 3 degrees outside, but inside the sheds, calving season has started.
Every morning, the corner is cleaned out here and washed, disinfected, and fresh straw put back in. If you want to keep disease levels down, if you want to keep the floor from getting slippy, you don't want the old blood stains starting to smell, so clean it and wash it every day. This is the area where they all calve. I sit up in the watchtower and put on the heat and I can see the lot down underneath me. The advantage of the hut being so high is that when the cows are calving underneath, they don't see anybody moving around. They tend to stop calving because they're inclined to watch you rather than concentrate on what they're doing. You see on the pin bones, if they're gone down, that's a sign they'll calve within 3 or 4 hours. And if you just feel them, you can tell within hours when they're going to calve.
"650 calves will be born in this area over the calving period at a rate of up to 30 calves a day. As the calves are born, Tom moves the cow and calf to a separate pen.
90% of them, you won't have to touch them. 5% of them you might assist them. And there are always that 5% that will give you problems because you'll have calves that'll be coming backwards. You'll have calves with one leg down, which means that they can't really calf until you adjust the calf and push them back in and lift the second leg. These are the 2 ropes that they call the leg ropes. You just slip them on over the calf's leg and pull. Okay. And most important, female.
That's more money in the bank.
There you are.
Sometimes, births are more difficult. This cow has developed milk fever and will not be able to give birth on her own. The cow is close to collapse.
This cow should have calved 2 hours ago. But because she got a slight touch of milk fever, she stopped calving.
Milk fever, or postparturient hypocalcemia, is a calcium deficiency. As the cow starts to lactate, her own levels of calcium drop.
If we didn't take the calf from her, the calf would be dead in a few hours.
But with the calf born, the cow can be treated.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to inject her into the bloodstream with a calcijet. So that should give an immediate response. Just give her a minute or 2 and she'll stand, hopefully. Come on!
With this mother and baby doing well, more calves are coming every hour. On Mitchell's farm, there's a more relaxed approach to calving.
I don't like to interfere in the process, because by interfering, I'm actually introducing infection into the cow's womb. So I just generally like them to have the calves themselves.
Wherever and however a cow enters this world, her introduction to the bureaucracy of agriculture is immediate.
Every calf born has to be tagged immediately, and that entitles them to a passport, something that'll stay with them for while they're alive.
For the rest of her life, this one will be known as calf 4866. 4866 will stay with her mother for less than an hour.
They're separated from the mother straight away. Come on.
The separation is uneventful and necessary.
Well, those cows are not bred for rearing calves. They're bred to produce milk. So they would have enough milk to feed approximately, some cows would have enough to feed 8-10 calves.
The mothers are taken for their first milking.
Now, she might not like this for the first few times, so she'll get used to it.
And the bee stings are brought back to the calf.
It's known as colostrum. It's vital that he gets enough of that for the first feed, because that will protect him thereafter.
Having had her first meal, 4866 is taken to join the other calves, and the shed is prepared for another day's calving. 4866 is just a few hours old, but as a heifer calf, her future is predictable. She'll be fed at Tom's expense for 2 years, after which time Tom will be looking for payback. Assuming she can produce calves herself, 4866 will work for 8 lactations, and like her mother will produce in the region of 50,000 litres of milk. The future for our dairy farmers is perhaps less predictable.
I'm in the twilight of my farming career. I would like to see it run as a 1,000 cow unit. I won't do it, and I'm not sure will any of my family even contemplate doing it. Like, that's really what makes this all kick for the person doing it. When I'm finished this one, I look at starting another one.
We're not interested in building it up just to sell it off. We like to think people are buying into the whole story produced on the farm, and if some bigger company bought it over, that's all gone.
It's generally not work to us. We love what we're doing.
I have no doubt that if I got a job and I worked as hard at that job, I would probably make 3 times what I earn. I know I would. Life isn't all about money.
If I wasn't proud of it, there would be something wrong with me, because I wouldn't do it. Or I wouldn't go to the extremes of doing things that I could. The one thing that I will do if I live for another few years is I'll plant some trees in some locations here and there to give it a bit of character. Just to put back a few of the ones I took out, because they were in the wrong place.
As our year on the dairy farm draws to a close, calf 4866 is starting her life out in the fields. And the dairy cycle of milking and grazing establishes itself once again.